There's no way that Rico was at this party on Friday being like, yeah, this Mark Titus guy, everyone fucking hates him. There's no chance. I don't think Marty would do that either. I could see a world where when they were doing this podcast 2 years ago, you know, maybe Hunter said, like, why is this Titus guy so fucking mean to me? And they're like, oh, no one really likes him. I don't know. I hope not, but
yeah,
I think we'll let Kirk Witt and Dave figure out who did it. It is The Rundown. It is April 8th, a Tuesday. I'm joined here by Stephen Shea and Danny Conrad. Before we get into it, we are brought to you today by Gametime. Baseball is back. There's nothing like going to a baseball game, especially last minute. Luckily for me, I always use Gametime. It is the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Gametime makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to showtime. Plus, if you purchase a super deal when buying tickets on April 22nd, Gametime will plant a tree with the proceeds for Earth Day. I was looking at the Cubs game tonight.
Tickets $1.
And the amazing deal for great seats only are $1. You can put those savings back in your pocket and spend them at the ballpark on a hot dog, a new hat, or some good old-fashioned Cracker Jack. What are you waiting for? I'm going to buy those Cubs games tickets now with Gametime.
Yeah, the hot dog is 5 times as much as the ticket. How do you like that?
They raised beer prices too. I saw that. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code RUNDOWN, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code RUNDOWN, RUNDOWN, $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. What time is it?
Gametime. Ooh, $5 is not a bad price for a hot dog at a ball game.
Not at all.
Okay.
The beer prices, I don't know what they were last year, but I went to opening day and they were $15.99 for a. That's a expensive beer.
Yeah, you got to like take a loan out to get drunk there.
How many ounces we talking?
I think it was just like a cup's like 16 ounces probably.
That is expensive.
It's a lot. All right. Number one story, obviously, last night was the national championship, which concluded March Madness. A lot of varying opinions on how March Madness went. It was very chalky, but also it gave us a Final Four that had 2 really good games and a really close national championship. Last night, ugly start. Florida wins the game 65-63. Ugly start from the beginning. Then it got really, really fun. Ugly ending, would you say, Stephen? What were your takeaways from the game?
You don't want to say disappointing ending because it's a 2-point game, but it's one of those like all-time what ifs. Like, what if Sharp just shot the ball right there? Like, it would have been nice to see. Would have been a contested shot for sure, but to end it on like it almost like double dribble travel situation where he's like boxing out his guy, like that's a disaster. That's going to haunt him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Can you think of endings to other games that were in that same caliber, just as bad? Like
James Worthy gave the ball to the other team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think my answers
Chris
would all
Webber,
be
obviously.
like heartbreak answers. Like mine for me is when, you know, the Indians lost to the Cubs after coming all the way back, and then there was a rain delay, and then they score, and it was just like disappointing. Like excitement levels were here, and then a rain delay happens in Game 7 of the World Series and you lose. But that last night was just like excitement. 20 seconds left. What are they going to do? They didn't even get a shot off.
Yeah, it was like fluky. I don't even know if you can compare the Indians-Cubs one because that was just – they just came back with this one.
So from the beginning of the game, I tweeted out early. I said, like, Duke has to be sick to their stomachs watching this, like, abomination of a basketball game. I've taken a lot of heat on Twitter because of it. But at the time, both teams were 0 for 13 from 3. Don't tell me that that's Houston, you know, mucking up the game. The beginning of the game was ugly basketball, no?
There were a lot of missed shots, and I think, you know, that's college in general. Like, they're obviously not as good shooters as the pros, but I actually really enjoyed this game. It was a chess match as far as, you know, Walter Clayton Jr. was Florida's best player. How are they going to stop him? And it was 0 points in the first half, right?
Finished
0
with 11.
And, you know, they're blitzing him every chance he gets on a pick and roll. So it was a nice chess match where, you know, they're basically getting Condon involved with a lot of their points and Richard. So it was a fun chess match to see. I was very confused at the end of the game because Houston was very clearly, you know, with whatever it was, 17 seconds, 19 seconds, they were very clearly going for 3 and taking their time. If you're down 2 there, you got to go quick. Even if you're shooting a 3, which I have no problem with, you got to go fast, especially if you're as good of an offensive rebounding team as Houston is. I personally probably would have tried to get a quick 2, and then, you know, if there's an open 3, absolutely go for that. But quick 2, I think, would have been the move, and then, you know, take your chances with your defense.
It's a tough pill to swallow for Houston, especially for the kid that let the ball dribble. Obviously, that would have been a travel, so he couldn't pick it up. But it was just so awkward seeing the ball just like float around on the floor. Yeah. Feel bad for Sampson. I feel like he's not only one of the best coaches, one of the best guys in the game. So, yeah, you feel bad for Houston. On the flip side, whenever a team wins a championship and has a record like this, Florida's only lost 4 games this year. Mm-hmm. They won the SEC tournament. They won the national championship. They're the hottest team. They're playing the best ball. You always have to talk greatest of all time. I feel like going into the no, I agree. Going into this,
they had lead for like 2 minutes.
Pardon?
They had lead for like 2 minutes.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Going into this Final Four, it was like Duke, if they win, they're going to be in the discussion for greatest of all time. Auburn all year was the best team, was the number 1 overall seed, made it there. They were talked about as perhaps the greatest of all time. Florida's been the hottest team for the entire calendar year now. They're not even in the discussion. Any thoughts on that?
No. If you're going to be one of the greatest teams of all time, you have to lead for more than 2 minutes. I mean, that's pretty open and shut case. Like, they should have lost this game.
Yeah. I want to be on record. I do not think they're the greatest of all time. I just think it's funny that in this heavyweight Final Four, 2 of the 4 teams have been discussed all year like that. Florida's the 1 seed, won the SEC tournament, and has lost 4 games. And I feel like they were disrespected all year. They won the national championship.
I mean, you're even a college basketball guy. Like, they're not even objectively, you look at the entire college basketball season, they're not even the best college basketball team this season.
This season?
I mean, they won the championship, so they can say that, but like, if you took them versus Duke on an even playing field, like, I think everyone's going to.
That's the one thing I'll push back on is no, I don't think they're the greatest of all time, and they're certainly not. And this year, all season, it was 1-2, 1-2. Duke, Auburn. It's Auburn, Duke. It's going to be those 2. It's going to be those 2. While Florida sat there, I think they started like 17-0. And it's like, wow, we should start talking about Florida a little bit. They've flown under the radar with 4 losses. And then in the greatest, conference historically, like statistical wise, they won the SEC tournament and then they swept through the national championship. So I don't know. A really, really good team. But yeah, it would have been different if Duke had won.
Nicky Smokes is about to be like a broken pull string dial, just saying, Gator boy, stay hot. Gator boy, stay hot. I'm already sick of it.
I guess we have to get into that next. Is he our Florida guy?
He is now.
He's our Florida guy.
Our Florida man.
Yeah.
Florida guy. Nicky Smokes went down to Gainesville for the tournament, or for the national championship, and then he was going to do Man on the Street, which I don't think the video has came out yet, but I know that him and Jacob have been working on it. Yeah, Nicky Smokes, just looking at that picture right there, one of the all-time, he'll rub it in your face when he wins. What's that tweet say, Doug? He's 2-0 against Dave in Game 7s. He's the Summer Games basketball gold medalist. Half the office. What does that mean?
Oh, what do you think?
He has a 2-hand hog. He lied to Dave to rally his team to a win. He's the Chicago 1v1-1 champion. He's the 1v1-1 Barstool champion, and he is now adding national champion to his resume.
Very modest guy.
He uses that picture far too much. This is like a weekly Smokes tweet where it's this picture of Kobe holding the trophy. I'll give him credit. All his teams that he doesn't really care about win. So I don't think that's really good news for the Miami Dolphins or the Miami Heat, but every team he's loosely associated with crushes.
Yeah, he's like an expert bandwagon fan.
Yeah.
He ultimately, like if you watch, and we watch sports year-round here in this gambling cave, you watch a Dolphins game with Nicky Smokes, you know his team is playing.
Yes.
Like he screams and yells. Now, don't get me wrong.
Unless it's like week 15 and they're like maybe out of it and they might make a wild card, which wouldn't even make him happy.
Fair enough. My point is he goes and yells and screams, knows every player, has nicknames for him. He's clearly a huge Dolphins fan. I'm not saying he did anything wrong here because I guess if Columbus Blue Jackets, who I'm from Columbus, but I don't watch hockey, if they were in the Stanley Cup, would I increase my content?
Sure. That's
naturally.
To be fair, that is our job.
Correct.
Amplify your sports fandom.
And so if they're going to send Nicky to Gainesville and do all this, like, great job, Nicky. I love it for you. Great. Nicky Smokes showed up to conference semifinals of the SEC tournament and had a roster. was asking what name everyone had. So I don't know. It just adds to the Nicky Smokes lore. Shout out. What were you guys saying about Jacob flew down there?
So Jacob flew down there to be the cameraman for the Man on the Street. His flight was delayed once, maybe twice. So he was going to get in like while the game was in progress. So I think he got into Jacksonville, 9:13. So he basically had to drive as fast as he can, legally, responsibly, fast as he could from the Jacksonville airport to Gainesville. I don't know how far that is. I think that is the somewhat local airport, but still, that's obviously cutting it pretty close. So he gets there shortly after the game ends. What is it?
1 hour,
18 minutes. Okay, so that's not like the quickest drive. Gets there after the game ends and is looking for Smokes, and Smokes in Do Not Disturb, which is crazy.
But listen, that's Nicky Smokes has done something at this company that I'm truly envious of, which is he has made that type of thing okay. Like for him, like he is allowed to.
Does not surprise
me.
anyone.
He lied to Dave's face about betting on Michigan and betting whatever, all to get a high noon, which you would call and he just rolls with it. He's like, now he's bragging about having done it. It's awesome. And Nicky Smokes lives a life. Shout out Nicky. But yeah, Jacob busted his ass to get down there for him and then couldn't get a hold of Nicky.
Yeah.
I have never put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, I'm not a
I do sometimes at night, like if I'm going to sleep.
But you just...
What's the benefit?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been called from people in this office at like 1 a.m, so...
But sometimes like you need to take those calls, maybe not 1 a.m, but at like 11 p.m. on like a Wednesday. That's
what's the difference
still fair game.
What do you... My
wife is
silent.
sleeping next to me.
True, but like, is there something? What's different between Do Not Disturb and having your phone on silent?
Does it just not show up on your lock screen if it's on Do Not Disturb?
I think it does, but I mean, it's
what is
basically
the
on silent. But if you're, I think you can get through if you call twice. Mm-hmm. So if it is a true emergency and someone does need to reach me, they can. Okay. And then I think if you're like one of the favorite contacts, then you can get through.
Maybe I'll become a Do Not Disturb guy based on that. But yeah, if you call me in the middle of the night, I'm not answering either because my phone's on silent.
Right. I'm always down to be disturbed. But so what about with texts? What's the difference?
You don't get alerted that you have text.
So kind of like just being on vibrate. But all right, Nicky Smokes.
Well,
there's no need to do that.
The phone won't vibrate.
Being on Do Not Disturb is very funny. For not overnight. That's not being on Do Not Disturb. When you're waiting on your cameraman is very
and when your team just won.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll move off the national championship. Next up, we're going to talk about the Wrigley Goose. So if you don't know the story, and Danny, correct me if I'm wrong because you're the resident Chicago in here. A goose made its home in the bleachers of Wrigley Field.
Yeah, center field bleachers, and they even blocked off some of the bleachers so people couldn't sit there in order to protect the goose. And they went as far as having Wrigley ushers like guard the area. Listen, that's fine. Mm-hmm. I just think we don't talk about the ridiculousness enough of this country's enforcement of the Migratory Bird Act. Like
Could you refresh the viewers about the Migratory Bird Act?
Well, like you can't, you ever hear like, oh, you can't go near a goose or you'll get like a $5,000 fine. Most birds for that matter. And we go as far as like, I get no hunting during non-hunting season, but to like accommodate a baseball game for a goose is just ridiculous. We're treating it like it's like a Targaryen dragon. Any other animal, any other critter, that thing is getting shooed immediately and probably killed eventually. A goose, we got Wrigley ushers literally like gathering sticks for it to build its nest. It just doesn't make sense.
I could, let me tell you this, I could not give 2 fucks about this goose.
It is 2-0 though, I will say.
That's the only thing I was going to say was
that matters a lot.
If the goose shows up like before a game, whatever, I don't give a fuck what you do with that. Kick that goose out. Once the goose stays and wins, you can't touch that goose until the team loses.
Agreed. It's more about geese laws in general. There was once, those golf course birds. It's like a red-winged blackbird, and they're very territorial. I have a video out there of one of them attacking me, just gnawing at my head. And people in the comments were just like, make sure you don't touch it. Make sure you don't touch it. It's like, so theoretically, a gaggle of geese could just kill me, and legally I can't do anything about it because you just can't touch these birds.
So you're telling me, as our goose law expert, I thought the reason they might have done this is because it's April, tickets are $1 on Gametime, it's cold. Okay, we'll protect this goose. You're telling me if this was in the playoffs and it was trying to be sold out, they would be blocking off spots in the bleachers because it's a fucking goose?
And reserving certain Wrigley ushers to be geese keepers.
I mean,
but
Steven,
that's like everywhere. Like geese are this protected everywhere, even outside of Wrigley.
Steve?
It is pretty wild that they're blocking off, but I mean, not close to a sellout yesterday. Like there was room for that, so I don't mind it, especially since they're winning. But yeah, I mean, if a bird makes its nest, like there are not really laws about that. Like you guys probably aren't familiar, but in Arlington Heights, the Olive Garden has just all over their signage in the front, there are half a dozen birds' nests.
I was unfamiliar. You're telling
there will be some people that watch this video that are familiar. Olive Garden in Arlington Heights,
niche,
right off Rand
niche
Road, is a ton of birds' nests all in the signage. When you walk in, you look up and there's 6 or 7
and you're
birds'
saying
nests.
You can't get rid of them?
I don't know.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, what do you mean? There's physically on the Olive Garden sign? That's what you mean by signage?
It's like signage like above where you walk in.
Right.
So like very high, maybe like 30 feet in the air. But in the letters, there are several birds' nests.
Wow.
And I'm not sure what you can do about that legally.
There's like squatters.
That's a horrible. We gotta make change, because there's certain animals, like everyone. Well, I don't know if you guys do. I love dogs, right? You would never harm a dog. I don't give a fuck about birds. Like, light that bird's nest on fire so he doesn't come back to it. I don't care.
Not to mention, geese are very aggressive. Like, I've definitely felt the need to use self-defense against a goose multiple times.
I love that comment, though. Ricketts probably charged him for a ticket.
Probably did.
All right. NFL draft. It's coming up. That's why we have Steve Che on.
Yep.
So the story is that Schefter's saying all signs are pointing to Travis Hunter at 2 to the Browns. Cam Ward is now minus 5,000 to go to the Titans, 1 overall.
Yep.
Steve Che, does that align with what you're hearing?
Yes, it does line with what I'm hearing. I got word over the weekend that it was going to be Travis Hunter at 2. It was minus 130. I put in a bet on our lovely DraftKings Sportsbook. That makes sense for the Browns. Like, they do not have really a lot of playmakers on offense. And, you know, he plays defense. He'll most likely be a full-time cornerback. They have Denzel Ward. They have, you know, Myles Garrett. They have a formidable enough defense as far as personnel. Mm-hmm. Adding him to that would be great. And then if you can get some additional, you know, weaponry on offense, that's great. Cam Ward has been kind of the chalky favorite to go number 1. I don't love this pick for them just because they are so far from being one quarterback away that I think you're starting his rookie.
Wait, you're saying if we got the quarterback, we're still not close?
I'm talking about Tennessee.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Yes. The Tennessee Titans, I think Cleveland, it could make sense. Like, I would think Cleveland would want to even move up to get their guy. Tennessee moves down. They get, you know, either Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, someone like that. And they can start building their team. They're not ready they're not going to win next year. They're probably not going to win the year after that. So then, you know, you're in year 3 of the rookie quarterback deal. And then hopefully you have a formidable enough team to compete. I don't think that is the smartest move long term, but you know, it's going to help sell tickets. It's going to help put the franchise in a good direction. I wouldn't give up on Will Levis quite yet, but it seems like they are. So yeah, that's the latest scuttlebutt. It also appears Shadur is dropping.
How far is he dropping?
I'd be shocked if we got past the Saints. I still think the Giants are going to take him one way or another. If it's at 3, if they trade down a little bit, I would be shocked just because. Can
you go to the odds again, Doug? Because it's saying right there it was 200 for was it Abdul Carter to go 3?
Yeah, so
I'm with you, Steve. Are they really on draft day? The New York Giants going to look at Shadur Sanders, who's going to come there and be like Mr. New York, Mr. Mm-hmm. They're going to pass on that.
Well, there is a potential Manning coming up and in future years, so that is certainly of interest in New York, you know, having with Eli having been there. But if you have Shadur sitting there, he was wearing the Giants cleats at late in the season, and then also there's the clip of him talking to Gilly, where Gilly was like, I really don't want you to go to an NFC rival, and then Shadur was like, well, it is what it is, man. Like, I'm coming. So he's obviously not going to the Eagles. He's obviously not going to the Commanders. Dallas doesn't really have the capital. They're very low. I don't think he's going to fall past New Orleans. And they already have Dak, who they've paid handsomely. So that would point to the Giants, who, again, he put their logo on his cleats. So I would be surprised if he is not a New York Giant, but he's not going to get past 9.
It looks like there's some value. If you think he might go at 3, what was that saying, Doug? Plus 550 right now in DraftKings for Shedeur Sanders? What's that?
500.
Plus 500?
Yeah.
All right. I might sprinkle a little bit on that because I agree with you. I when I close my eyes and think of the Big Apple in New York, I think of they're going to want someone that can not just help their team, but can also, live in the big city and be the man there. And Shedeur's the guy in this draft that would be that.
I think I'm much higher on Shedeur than a lot of drafts people. Like some people are like, well, he only has an average arm. I'm not really sold on him as an elite level quarterback. I don't think he's going to be necessarily a top 5 quarterback, but I think that he can be a very good starting quarterback. And if you need that, and I think that could make sense for the Giants at that point, especially with their receivers.
How many sources have you lost or deemed untrustworthy throughout the years after they went in cahoots with some of your coworkers to fuck with you?
Not that many.
But once they do it, you're like, oh, I can't trust anymore. Like the guy who screwed up day to day for you.
I don't know if anyone directly screwed up. I think that was like commenters.
Or sorry, that was like the NFL draft show.
The NFL draft show. No, no. I mean, those people are friends and do it kind of in a loving way. And
fool me once, Steve. Fool me once.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily want to get fooled, but if it makes for a better show, like I can't. How am I supposed to be mad at that? Like, this made a very funny moment. Like, okay, it was the butt of it. Well, it made it a lot better.
Well, not that, but like I would feel like I have to take everything with a grain of salt from that source from there on out. But that's the Che difference, and I respect that.
Some of those guys have moved up in the world, and they're full GMs now.
There you go. Well, we've got. Don't have to give too much, but Steven, you've been working hard on the NFL draft show coming up.
Yep.
Excited for it.
Yep. Yeah. A couple weeks. It'll be fun. It's going to be me, Brandon Walker, Gruden. We're going to have Liam Blutman involved. We just had a meeting about it this morning. So, a lot of fun stuff. A lot of big guests, which we're very excited about. So, yeah, it's going to be I think I've been doing this for like 6 years now, or 5 years, which have all been very, very fun. So, I'm looking forward to this year, especially with Coach Gruden.
Of course. All right, next we have the Arizona State girl. You can play the clip of her, but it's going viral. She's basically a college student at Arizona State that posted a day in the life. And she lives a college life that I would say the whole internet is saying that's not a real college life. What's your take on it, Danny? She has it's a random like Wednesday. She's having $200 dinners. She's going to do yoga. Was that what your guys' college experience was?
Not even remotely. Obviously this girl comes from money, and I hear that ASU is kind of just like a fantasy land to begin with. But if you're like I assume all of us are like middle class, so once you get to college, that makes you broke. But so this girl is very rich. Once she got to college, she's like only kind of rich. Anytime, let alone she's getting like $200 dinners, but anytime you could dine anywhere outside of your dining hall or go to a yoga place instead of your university gym, that was filthy rich in my eyes when I was in college. And not to mention, she starts this off being like, it's nice to have a detox week, whatever that is, after a weekend in Vegas. What is a detox week to her? Because at first I was like, oh, is she just not going to go to class? She goes to class, and then she's also drinking at the dinner.
Yeah, I mean, my first takeaway is that I can't relate to this because I went to school in Columbus, Ohio, and 90% of in the spring, it's pissing snow and it's pissing rain at you. In the winter, it's fucking freezing and you're walking 30 minutes to class. And in the fall, like you're just getting ready for football season or for, Saturday football, but it's cold out and where this take away all the things she does. Going to school in Scottsdale, Arizona, is that where Arizona State is?
Yes.
That looks
Tempe,
that looks like a dream life in general.
Yeah, I would love to talk to an average girl about their college experience, because even little things like she just bought a pair of shoes. I'm not buying shit. No. I have no money. There would be a place that would have like 50-cent wings at night, and I just wouldn't eat during the day all day, no breakfast, just because I'm like, all right, I'll get my money's worth tonight.
And the more I'm watching this, the more I'm getting upset. Just like This can't be real is my take. I remember
And she got a queen bed.
I have a take on this. The queen bed is a bit much. So I have been to Arizona State's campus. It is very nice. It is one of the nicest campuses. The weather there is incredible. The campus overall is incredible. Great layout. So obviously she has some money, but she does address in it that she has some like brand deal stuff. So she is obviously some type of influencer or marketing person where she is getting paid for a lot of this. I also don't think, this girl, 230,000 followers on Twitter, probably way bigger on other platforms. She takes very few college credits, from what I imagine, maybe 12, which is fine. She is, the one thing I think about this video is I do not think she's getting that much sleep because she's waking up early. She's she's waking up early. She is getting ready breakfast and stuff like that. Then she's going to work out to go to yoga, then come back, like shower and stuff like that, then go to class, very few classes, maybe one or two, then going out to dinner and stuff like that. I don't think I think this is the new age, like, obviously NIL for athletes and stuff like that, but this is the new age influencer college experience if you hit it big. Obviously, she has with her social media following where she is taking advantage of it and making money and getting paid to do this type of stuff. So good for her. I don't think that this is even that big of a stretch.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's the
dinner is paid for by whatever.
So are you assuming? Like, I don't know.
She says like I have like a dinner to talk about brand deals or something like that.
Fair.
So like, we, occasionally we'll go to like a fancy dinner and it will be like the clients are there or whatever. So like, okay.
Yeah, and I guess one thing that's changed since we were in college, like at least I didn't realize because there wasn't TikTok and whatever. There wasn't like people getting paid while they were in college to be influencers. At least I didn't run in those circles.
Yes.
Now I'm assuming that at every campus, especially like big schools, there are people that have social, like Mubi was one of them. Mubi was a monster on social media at her college a year ago. So,
correct.
I don't know. The college experience has changed, but when I think of college, it's like,
it's not even like the money though. It's like the amount of like free time. I don't know that she is just taking 12 credits. It's
12 credits means 12 hours a week. So that's not that much time. That's 4 days of classes, 3 hours a day.
But she started saying like, "Oh, I got to sleep in today." I don't know. It just must be nice. This is like what you see in Blue Mountain State or a TV show.
She also is definitely like an influencer, like brand person, because she's saying like, "I'm doing homework, but I'm also like checking emails." Like, what fucking emails are you getting? That, like you need to like. Yeah, she probably has some type of job.
All right, I think what we need is we want a rebuttal. We want a day in the life of a normal college student at Arizona State.
I think everyone that doesn't understand this video is a huge boomer.
All right, well, Danny's the one who sent it in to be on the rundown, so
yeah, you're this is a stretch.
I mean, my college experience was very different from this, but like I understand how this works now.
Okay,
but this is basically like like a kid actors' lives are different too. You can't compare that to your kid life. If you throw in money in the mix while you're at college, it's an entirely different experience. Even if you have like a dining hall job.
I just remember my biggest like change is like I used to remember I would only buy like Natty Light, like even like Coors Light and Bud Light or whatever Miller Light felt like, man, I got to get the cheapest case of beer. Now there's like craft beers and all these things that didn't even cross my mind when I was a college student.
Always Keystone Light.
I would have to like pocket cookies from the dining hall if I wanted to eat later.
What was your guys' job during college, if you had one?
I never got one at the campus, but like on breaks, I worked at this. I'd come home and work at a hardware store.
I refereed and officiated year round. So I would go to class, whatever, and then I got my high school baseball license and my high school basketball license, and I would just always be going to, Worthington Christian Middle School, and I would have a game at 3:30 and 4:30, and I don't know, I liked it.
Okay.
What'd you do?
I worked RSR, which was like the resident safety, like basically the doorman. Like I would make sure people swiped in, and you basically just sit in a booth with a TV. And my schedule was Saturday 8 to midnight, and then I'd work one afternoon during the week for like 3 hours, and it would make me $50, which would get me through the weekend.
Hell yeah!
But I would just watch Sunday Night Football, and during the one afternoon, I'd like watch some other TV, and it was great.
Not bad. All right, final thing, got to address it. Kind of took over our socials yesterday. Is the whole Hunter Dickinson, Goodman, Marty Mush, Rico Bosco, Mark Titus situation. I'm sure it'll get delved into more on Thursday with the Unnamed show, but you can throw the clip in there. Basically what happened is Jeff Goodman hosts a show called Field of 68. It's a college basketball podcast. John Fanta's on there a lot as well. But basically Hunter Dickinson, who just finished his long, illustrious career playing college basketball.
6.9 million. Holy cow. This is a big video.
Oh, yeah. Is this the Mostly Sports account one?
Yeah. This is the original video, but like getting that,
Whenever you retire, okay? Whenever you retire, you got a spot on Field
I got
of
a couple
68.
years, Jeff, and then.
All right, but no Barstool. You come to Field of 68.
I will say the Barstool people were killing me after the season, so I got to. That's a rocky relationship right now with them. It's only guy that's got my back is like Marty and Rico out there, so it's a little rocky relationship.
Mushy
with Barstool
Mush. I don't know about Mushy Mush.
But the worst person at Barstool is the one that does the college basketball Barstool. I hate him, bro.
I don't even know who that is. I don't.
He's the college basketball. He was a walk-in at Ohio State. The man be trying to act like he was in there averaging 20 at Ohio State. Bro, you were a walk-on at Ohio State. Like, calm down. I'm saying he be trying to act like, I swear, and people in Barstool tell me how everybody hates him except for Big Cat. That's the only reason why he's got a job there.
No, the thing with him is, I don't even remember his name now. What's his name?
I don't know his name. I
You're
know he
asking
went to
the
Ohio
wrong.
State.
No idea.
He's Harry Barstool over
No,
here,
not
so
John.
we got to
John,
keep him out of it.
I'm not going to put John in that situation because John is the middle guy. Everybody loves
forget
John.
his name.
This is going off the rails, Dagan.
Titus, thank you.
It's going off
Titus.
the rails.
The problem with Titus is, here's the problem with Titus, and we'll go after this. He can dish it out, but he can't
can't
take
take
it.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
I think the biggest thing, forget the whole Marty Rico. I'm sure they'll investigate deep into it. The Goodman and Dickinson acting like they didn't know who Mark was embarrassing because it's just not like Goodman has called Mark on the show. Goodman has texted Mark. Goodman has tweeted at Mark. Goodman's show, Field of 68, has said that Mark Titus is the reason why their show started because he like showed them how to do it. And I got to defend Mark a little bit more, not that he needs it. His whole persona, he wrote a book called Don't Put Me In, Coach, My Journey from the End of the Bench to the End of the Bench. He was famous in college for creating the trillion, which is to play a certain amount of minutes and have 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 whatever. He consistently makes fun of himself for not being a good basketball player and being on the end of the bench. So you guys, you can talk about the Marty and Rico thing. The idea that Hunter says he acts like he averaged 20 points a game and Goodman to say he doesn't know, those are the two biggest losers in the clip.
Yeah, pretending like they don't know his name is the lamest, most transparent thing of all time. I think you lose immediately right after saying that.
And then the Barstool wise, Hunter does go on to say that someone at Barstool told him no one likes Mark. The only reason that they're nice to Mark is because Big Cat likes him, which is just not true. I saw Stephen Che came out and made a very brave statement that he actually does like Mark Titus.
Yeah.
So now there's two, Big Cat and Che.
Well, Hunter Dickinson did a good job of making sure that he's not going to work at Barstool.
So correct me if I'm wrong, and I have not really delved into this. I did see the clip and I did see like Mark's retort, but I haven't really gone too much outside of that. Hunter Dickinson does a show with Marty. Did. So it was some type of recorded, like we put it out on audio and YouTube, correct?
Yeah,
okay.
And he had gone on.
So he has
as well with Rico and Marty.
At point worked, probably not getting a paycheck, but like he was working. He was on a show that we put out regularly.
I know for a fact that he was on Benchmap. Is it true that him and Marty did a show?
Yeah, I don't know if he just a guest
maybe it was
or
Benchmap.
co-host.
For sure. I know this.
He's been involved with Barstool before.
Yeah, they had gone there. He had shown him around. Here's what I can say. I know, I believe Marty and Hunter are friends. They're friends. Yeah. Rico, the funniest part about this is Rico just posted a picture on Instagram this weekend of him and Hunter Dickinson at a party. So I'm hoping it's neither because I like Marty and I like Rico, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out if Hunter is saying someone at Barstool told him everyone hates Mark.
It's I think you should leave banana suit. We're going to get this guy.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Didn't Marty and Ev have like an open kind of mini beef with Titus way back when like talking about time slots? Maybe Marty was just like, oh, fuck Titus during that moment in front of Dickinson, and then Dickinson was just like, oh, everyone hates him. I could just see it being something as stupid as that.
Right. There was some animosity, I think, when they brought in like a new college basketball guy, which is,
and no one at this company could obviously speak for everyone. It's just stupid.
Yeah. My guess is that Marty nor Rico has said anything in the last year. It didn't happen on Friday. There's no way that Rico was at this party on Friday being like, yeah, this Titus guy, everyone fucking hates him. There's no chance. I don't think Marty would do that either. I could see a world where when they were doing this podcast 2 years ago, maybe Hunter said like, why is this Titus guy so fucking mean to me? And they're like, oh, no one really likes him. I don't know. I hope not, but
yeah,
I think we'll let Kirk Witt and Dave figure out who did it.
Yeah.
Also,
they don't want a piece of us, man.
On record, like I tweeted out yesterday, like I like Mark. He's part of the Yak. I think he's a great addition to Barstool and the Yak. It's okay if not everyone likes you. Like I'm sure there are a lot of people that don't like me. Who cares?
A ton.
It's not a popularity contest. So while this sucks and like you don't want to see Mark get dragged like this, like
I think this is good for Mark. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like the amount of people that have been
it's probably not great. Like
Hunter Dickinson says he sucks, and let's be honest, not a lot of people like Hunter Dickinson. The internet has been like, Mark's fucking awesome.
So fill me in exactly on Hunter Dickinson. Why is he such a big deal?
He played for Michigan, and the big thing is like if you make a name for yourself as a freshman and then stay for a really long time, it feels like you're here forever. Mm-hmm. So he played at Michigan. I think he played a couple of years. They went semi-deep in the tournament. He was then the huge transfer that transferred to Kansas. Kansas was the preseason #1, led by transfer Hunter Dickinson, who's going to be an All-American. And then they flopped. And they had one of the worst years Kansas had in a really, really long time. And then he came back this year, and now he's the preseason All-American. They're the preseason #1. They have the best transfer class, and they're #1. And they flopped again. And they didn't have a really good Big 12 season, and they lost in the first round of the tournament, upset to Arkansas. So he gets a lot of hate for his defense, and he gets a lot of hate for being overrated. And I'm not here to talk about any of that, but he's just a polarizing figure that has stayed really long in college. And I think people point that out to him. And then he said that now that he's done with his eligibility, he's going to go on like I can chirp at you and not have repercussions. And the first person he chose was Mark.
Well, knowing our company, this beef is going to be squashed by either a combine or a rap battle.
Should be fun. So, all right. You guys got anything else?
I think that's it. Steve?
Yeah, I think that's it. Or we got mini golf this week.
Oh.
Mini golf starts, it's live, right?
Oh, we're doing Barstool After Dark tonight.
Yep.
Barstool After Dark tonight.
Plug your show.
It's called Four Nations, Four, F-O-R-E, not four. It is me and Hank, Team USA, 2-on-2 mini golf against Team the World, which is Stephen Che representing China and Max representing Italy. Basically, we have to watch it tonight. It'll be right after the rundown. To win a hole, both you and your partner have to hit a hole-in-one on that hole. So it'll either be Max and Che have to hit a hole-in-one on one, or me and Hank do. First team to do it, we win that hole, we move on. How's your mini putt skills? None of us qualified, by the way.
I was pretty upset that I did not qualify. I am, and no one to blame but myself there. But I finished. I was in the final grouping last year. I think I was like 26 under. So I was or 25 under, something like that. But I was I can compete in this.
What are our predictions?
Hole-in-ones are totally different though. Like we're not playing it safe.
What are our predictions for how long you think it'll take?
I don't know. I haven't played all the holes because like I played my first round yesterday with Spider, and there were maybe 5 or 6 holes that were closed because they either had paint on them or like they had to finish connecting something. So
there's at least like 3 out there that are going to give you a hard time.
I've heard like 3 are almost impossible to hole in one.
Yeah.
So I think it could be a long stream. But we'll see. I mean, Jerry did this last year, and I think he finished much faster than anticipated.
It's one of those things where you finish 15 of the holes like that, and then you spend 4 hours on one of the holes.
And what's going to be hard is like 2 people have to get it.
Yeah. All right. As for the mini golf portion, I really wasn't too upset that I'm not in mini golf. I want to be in it, obviously. Now that I see, I don't know if we're talking prize pool, but when I see that prize pool, that is a punch to the fucking gut. You have a 50% chance of splitting that?
I mean, there's 8 people
Do
on
that
each
math.
team. Is it 8?
It's 8 or 9, even if
Okay.
it's fucking 10.
Yeah.
Jesus. So you guys will have to finish before the actual mini golf event.
Yeah, we'll just tell
Wednesday.
Dave and them, just hold on. We'll
Hold
finish
on.
up here soon.
Big boys are working.
Yeah. I actually have been helping one of the teams with scouting and pre-draft research.
Of course.
Of course you have. All right, that's the rundown. See you guys tomorrow.
See ya.